So here's the question. If somebody confided in you that they have been going through a trauma, right? A difficult experience, and they have been thinking about suicide, and they felt comfortable enough with you that they could talk with you and said, hey, I really haven't shared this with anybody else, or I don't know what to do about it, and you seem really caring and wise. What advice would you give that person?
I definitely start off with not talking any negative emotions about what they're going through. Like stay positive. Ask what's going on, because they trusted you enough to confide in you about this. So obviously they have something they want to share and want to talk about. So I'd definitely be like, what's going on, what's making you feel these ways, and just let them talk it out. Just remind them that you're supposed to be alive for 70 years. Not every day, not every week, not every month, not every year is going to be amazing. There's always going to be it's always going to get greener, and when you do go through hard things, it makes the green side 10 times greener, and it's just, yeah.
Nice. So would it matter if it was a student, somebody in your grade or maybe a little bit younger, or it was a boy or a girl, and they told you this, that I've been thinking about this, I keep thinking about it, because as you and I have discussed, that 1 out of 5 teenagers think about or have thought about suicide, and that half of teenagers have had an adverse childhood experience, like a divorce in their life, or a family member being a problem drinker, or some abuse, physical, emotional, sexual. And so would it matter if it was a boy or a girl, a little younger than you, same age as you, that confided in you and said, hey, I'm struggling and I'm one of those 5 people, or I'm one of the half of people that have had an ACE, an adverse childhood experience, and I'm thinking about committing suicide? Would it matter to you? And would you handle a boy or a girl different, or younger or older any different?
Probably not. They're all I mean, I guess older people do have different thoughts, thought processes and stuff, but it's all just the same baseline, because everyone roots from an age, like we were talking about with the tree rings. Everyone roots from one thing, and no matter what age, gender, whatever, everyone wants to talk about. Everyone should talk about their problems and get acceptance and have someone to confide in.
So that really helps a lot for you to be that person. What we were talking about earlier is what we're calling rings of the tree, and that we're all the present ring in our lives now, but we still have the 1-year-old ring, the 2-year-old ring, the 3-year-old self, the 4-year-old self. We still have all of our prior years of life inside of us, so we can easily act like a 2-year-old or an 8-year-old, or a 14-year-old. And what we're also talking about is that people tend to get stuck at a certain ring, at a certain age, where they did have a trauma or an adverse life experience, like a divorce in the family, or been through some abuse, or some breakup that was really hard because of the rejection. So people get stuck, and most people don't resolve that trauma or those difficult times, so they keep repeating it and stay unhappy and pressured. What we're talking about is going back to those traumas, those early times, and healing and resolving. And you're bringing up a really important point, which is the importance of being accepting and listening to somebody, be honest with you about how they feel, right? How valuable that is.
Yeah.
And have you experienced that, besides people confiding in you because of your interest in psychology and your interest in helping people? Have you been able to reach out to somebody and been able to confide in somebody and felt really listened to, and if that made any difference, whether it was a friend or a parent or a relative? You ever had that?
No, yeah. I have a really close friend who I like my thoughts that like I feel like are like bad thoughts or like embarrassing and like just like thoughts that I shouldn't have, like I'll tell her about it and she'll look at me with like straight face, like with acceptance, and she'll not make it seem like a crazy remark that I just made. And that's really helpful because like I feel like there's just someone there who like no matter what I say, no matter what I'm thinking, she'll just always be there for me.
Nice.
And that's really helpful.
And you know how all relationships are reciprocal. So typically, if somebody treats us mean, we treat them mean.
Yeah.
If somebody ignores us, we ignore them. If somebody's really accepting of us, we're accepting of them.
Yeah.
And so, do you give that back to your friend?
I definitely think like that's like where our acceptance comes from, because like she'll say something to me, I'll say something to her, and we're both like we'll say like our deepest, darkest thoughts, and it's just like back and forth, like acceptance.
Yeah, yeah. So it's reach out to somebody that you really sense will accept you and be supportive.
Yeah, and it's honestly like, because I've had some friendships where like I like total opposite for me, like I never thought I'd be friends with them ever because like I don't know, but like once we start talking, like if I accept one thing that they say that they think is a little bit like off, it just becomes like a accepting friendship. So I think honestly, no matter who you talk to, you can always just like create that relationship with someone just by like starting it off right.
So when you give acceptance and care, you're more likely to get it, and if they give to you, you're more likely to give it. Yeah. So with kids that have been traumatized, which is half of kids, if not more, kids that are struggling with suicidal thoughts and really thinking it's not worth it, just give up, there's no hope, all of that. What you're really saying is that, please reach out, please talk to somebody that cares about you, please connect with somebody that's accepting.
Yeah, because there's someone out there who feels the same. Like, there's someone out there who's been through it. There's someone out there who has similar experiences. Like, you don't realize how similar people think to each other. Like, it's always better to talk it out. And
And in addition to listening, to really helping them figure out their own best answers in a caring, compassionate, supportive conversation environment. Because people are smarter than they think. But sometimes it's hard to get to that because we get so tied up in our emotions that we haven't been expressing, we've been holding in, and they just get stronger and stronger. So by really being open and expressing, we kind of untie the knots and get disentangled and, kind of connect with our own inner wisdom.
Yeah, because if you just say your baseline thought before it gets like all jumbled in your head, it's just like that. Like, it's,
So remember the rings of the tree. Remember, it's okay to be stuck at a younger age. Let the present you help you out, and reach out to people that you know can be accepting and supportive, because you'll end up giving and receiving that. It'll go both ways. And I can tell when you talk about your friend that you do that with, it brings a smile to your face, makes you feel good, and so that's you're really just one conversation away from feeling a lot better fast.
Definitely.
Yeah.